Good evening. Welcome to the Maplewood City Council Budget Work Session. I call this meeting to order on Tuesday, February 8th, 2022. Mr. Reese, would you please conduct roll call?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Crossley.
Here.
Councilmember Fockingham. Mayor Knapper.
Here.
Councilmember Page.
Here.
Councilmember Phillips.
Here.
Councilmember Schmidt.
Here.
Councilmember Wood.
Here.
Mayor Knapper, we have a quorum.
Thank you. May I have a motion to excuse Councilmember Fockingham, please?
Motion to excuse Councilmember Fockingham.
Second.
Thank you. All those in
Not here.
favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. The motion carries. All right, item number 4, debt fund, Hanley Road special allocation. Mr. Reese?
Yeah, so I'm going to turn this over to our finance director, Lexi Miller. Lexi, do you have your camera on?
Oh, I do. Hold on. There we go. Sorry.
Thank you.
It fell down earlier and I was like, I don't need it right now. I'll be fine.
Okay, you're up. Thank you.
Okay, do you know how to make me the host so that way I can share my screen?
Well, make co-host, host or co-host.
Co-host, just so I can share my screen.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay, share screen. Come on. Share. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for the opportunity to be in front of you all tonight to discuss the scintillating topic of debt service, because I know it's everybody's favorite subject. But we need to just go ahead and do the budget worksheets for the debt service. The city has 4 debt service funds. There is the Hanley Road Debt Service Fund. There is the Cambridge Commons, the Deer Creek Special Allocation Fund, and the Firehouse General Obligation Bonds. So the Hanley Road Special Allocation, the Cambridge Commons, and the Deer Creek, those all come in. We just do like a 5-year average of all the revenues, and all the revenues are sent over to the debt. So we generally budget a 5-year average for what's going to come in, and then it all just goes through. So we don't really have a lot of options with that because all the money we collect is paid to the debt. The same thing is similar for the general obligation bond debt. That we actually have an amortization schedule for the bond debt as to when it needs to be paid, but the general obligation bond tax is set based on the amount that we need to pay. So we collect just enough to be able to pay the debt service that we have to pay this year. So neither fund should ever have really, or none of them should ever have any kind of fund balance. All the money just basically, it passes through. So, and also if I start talking too fast, please let me know because I have a tendency to do so. Okay, so if everybody's okay, we can start with the Hanley Road special allocation. As you can see, the original issue amount was $12 million. We have an estimated maturity date of 11/1/2026. I have not been able to find out the outstanding debt as of 6/30/2021 yet. I'll get that with the audit if we ever get the audit. So I'm hoping to get that soon now. And that will be updated for the budget book. So as you can see, our average, it's kind of fluctuated between $1,016,000 and as low as $926,000 that we collect and then pay for that Hanley service, Hanley Road Special Allocation Fund. So with the high number of 21-22 was budgeted at $1,035,000. We only actually collected and sent over or paid off $984,419 as of June 21. So with that 5-year average, we're estimating that it's probably going to be more like about $1,005,798 that we'll be able to collect during fiscal year 2022-2023 that will get charged over towards the debt. And if you look at these other worksheets, they aren't really as apropos for these funds just because they're pretty much dollars in, dollars out. But it does show that it's all trustee payments. And that it's for the tax increment finance payments for the South of Folk redevelopment project. So that's the Lowe's, Applebee's, and Twin Peaks. Are there any questions about the Hanley Road Special Allocation Fund? That's it.
Just a quick one. Is this the one that has, like, there's like the TIF commission, or not the commission, but there's some sort of group that monitors this? Am I thinking of something entirely separate? Isn't there like a Hanley Road, something or another?
Is it like
Yes.
a,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is that for the PUD or something, or whatever it is?
if
like
I may,
for-
is that the CID or the TTD, the transportation?
Oh, it's a whole lot of acronyms being thrown at me right now. Forgive me. I just know that Mr. Reese and I had a meeting probably at, maybe it was like the beginning of the year, Mr. Reese. And that was with some other mayors and county reps. So that's why I was
Right.
saying yes to Councilmember Crosley's question, because I think she's correct. I think that is,
Yes,
yeah.
there's a Hanley Road board, if you will, and the mayor participates, I participate, the Brentwood mayor and city manager, the county, like you said. So we had a meeting in December, I think it was.
Okay.
Okay. All right, that was my only question. I think, Lexi, like you said, this is all very straightforward. Thank you, though, for walking us through it.
Is there any other questions?
Just a quick question, and this is more related to because our fiscal year starts in July. I'm trying to figure out what the impact of the pandemic is or isn't on these actuals versus budgeted numbers.
Well, that is why we do a 5-year average of
Right.
the revenues, and that's including fiscal year 2020, 2021. So that would be the first year of the pandemic, pretty much. Yeah, it'd be the first full year of pandemic. And as you can see, we collected $984,419. I believe that the budget number, sorry. I know that the budget, I believe the budget number was higher for that, because before we actually ran into COVID. So I think we thought the numbers were going to be going up, but they really aren't because of COVID. We've just had some kind of stalling, if you will. Let me see if I can find you the actual. First, I'll find it. Oh, there it is. Okay. So for Hanley Road, yeah, it was originally budgeted for fiscal year 2020, 2021 at $1,029,480. We only collected $984,419. So that would have been the COVID hit, which is why we budgeted $1,035,000, but that's why we're dropping it down to the $1,005,000, because we figure because of COVID, it's still kind of stalling out a bit. We don't expect to collect all of that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Sorry, I just had a like sort of clarifying question. So it looks like too, even though we collect 984, it looks like a portion of that goes to interest. So we're really only paying down. The whole amount doesn't go to principal, is that correct?
Correct. We have principal and interest. So, but we just
pay it over though. Yeah.
Yes, we just pay it all over, so that way we can ensure we can get the debt paid off during the TIF life. Otherwise, you can run out of money. We don't want to do that. If there aren't any other questions, if it pleases the council, I can move on to the next debt service, which would be the Cambridge Commons special allocation.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, Cambridge Commons. Okay, so Cambridge Commons again. Again, this was an original issue amount of $519,000. Outstanding as of June 30th of 2020 was $355,000. As I said, I still don't have that final number yet from the audit, but I have been trying to get in touch with them to get me some of those numbers. So I'll get that updated as soon as possible. The estimated maturity date on this one also is April 1st of 2027. Again, we do the 5-year average for this one. As you can see, the 2021 actual was actually 75,822, which was probably it's the highest number that we've had. We had actually budgeted for 21-22 $73,000. So we actually did come up a little bit. We got a little bit more than what we had thought. This year 21-22 is budgeted for $73,000. But by taking that 5-year average because of the 2019-2020 and the 2018-2019, we're estimating about $63,931 to be paid in 2022-2023. Obviously, if we collect more, we will move over more, but that's kind of what we're thinking it's going to be, especially with COVID still lingering. And on this one, again, you can see that it's just all trustee payments, but it's going to be capped. It's going to be principal and interest. And it's just for the Cambridge Commons redevelopment project.
On this one, the taxes are based on the property values. Is that correct?
Yes.
So,
A TIF is based on, a TIF is the tax increment financing. So it's based on your property values, and it's an incremental financing based on your property values.
so because the individual property values have gone up over the past couple of years, certainly assessments have gone up, then we're probably going to end up with a larger amount for the.
We would, yes, we would assume so. That is the goal.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other questions I can answer regarding the Cambridge Commons special allocation? If not, if it pleases the council, we can move forward to the Deer Creek special allocation.
Thank you.
Okay, so the Deer Creek Special Allocation Fund is also another TIF. And so, so we have the same situation with the outstanding amount. The original issue was $7,675,000. I'll update the outstanding amount as I get it from the auditors. This is expected to mature on May 1st of 2035. So this one has a little bit longer life. As you can see, it has kind of fluctuated a bit, and it's gone up pretty significantly from 2018-19 to 2019-2020. The average is looking at about $1.2 million for 2022-2023, actually $1,211,488. For 2021-2022, or I'm sorry, for 2020-2021, we had budgeted $919,915, and that's actually what we received. So it actually came in okay, which is kind of funny. But and then so for budget, we have this year $981,718. So we'll see what we wind up with at the 2022-2023, but we're estimating about $1.2 million. This again is just all the trustee payments, and it's for the Deer Creek Center redevelopment project. And it's just that, you know, as it says, it's just to pay back the TIF bonds through pilots and it's a payment in lieu of taxes.
So this one, obviously the math, that the year that we're not seeing on this must have been a pretty big number to get that average.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I don't have it.
And I'm sure we have it in previous years.
Yeah, I do. I have a spreadsheet that it puts in the numbers every year, and then we just take the average of the last 5.
Curious just on the formatting of what we're seeing. Doesn't it make sense to actually include the previous years that are calculating the average?
It could, but actually these numbers aren't actually calculating the average because we're taking actual. So I take the past 5 years actual. So I have 21, 20, 19, 18, and 17. It's not including the budget for 21, 22.
Okay.
So And I could do that if y'all would prefer to see it that way. I could include include all of the actuals that are making up that average, and I can resend that out.
I'm just thinking of for the, I guess, for things to make more sense from the public perspective. Since we're telling them that we're using 5 years average, and for folks that don't necessarily attend our work sessions, who may only be looking at the documents, for future, it may make a little bit more sense to help the budget process make a little bit more sense.
Sure, I can do that. That won't be a problem. I'll make a note too.
Mhm.
And I can even do that for the final version that goes into the budget book. So that way we have it in the budget book when I present the consolidated budget. I believe that's in May. I'll make sure I have that for you guys.
Thank you.
So that way it's in the one that goes out to the public. Okay. Thank you. That'll probably make it much easier for people that really kind of follow kind of the process that we use and why we do it the way we do. That's a really good suggestion. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions or suggestions? Okay, this is going awfully fast. So if it's okay, the next item we have is the Firehouse Funds.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so the Firehouse Funds, we actually have an amortization schedule for that. The original issue amount was $6 million. They're scheduled to come to full maturity as of March 1st, 2035. It will have, in that maturity schedule, it has a principal amount. We make 2 payments a year. One is principal and one is principal and interest. Or I'm sorry, one's an interest amount, the other one's principal and interest. Sorry, reverse that. So we have a set schedule that we have to follow for those payments. So that is how we use this for if I go up here, you can see that we have the bonds. And then we also have professional services because we have some reporting and some administrative fees associated with the bond. So that is all that is paid out of this general obligation bond debt. So the total payment of principal and interest for the bonds for this year is $397,100. And then we have the professional service fees from UMB for about $1,800. This bond, when we set the way we do our tax rates, when we set tax rates, we do set debt service. And when we set the debt service, what we do is we have to figure in what our expenses are going to be in general obligation bond for debt service for the next calendar year. You're allowed to retain a small portion as like kind of a reserve. So that way you have a little bit of a cushion, but it's very limited. And if you get too high, you have to, you can't charge any tax. You have to get it corrected and you're not allowed to do it. It becomes an issue with the state auditor. So it's very limited as to how you can collect these funds. So we set the taxes every year to be able to collect the funds, to be able to pay off the debt that comes in, and that's all that we collect. I have been aware of places that for some reason they wound up with a reserve for their general obligation bond debt. And so it was a problem for them. They had to go in, and it became a big issue. They didn't charge any debt service for the couple of years until they got all that paid back. But it's just not the way it's done. So there's a whole formula that you have to follow, set out by the secretary or by the state auditor, that lets you know how you can charge your general obligation bond debt. And so that's kind of what we did. That's what our revenues will be versus this debt. And there are no capital improvements left to do with that money. The money's all been spent. So back, I guess, when it was still new, there was still capital improvements, but there are no more.
I just had a note that the balance listed on the front page was the same that was listed last year. So I don't know if that was correct or like on our final, but the balance up where it says balance as of 6/30/20.
Yes,
That
I'm
amount.
sorry. I do need to update that.
Oh,
from
okay.
2021. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I will make sure that that's done as well.
So in the case for this one, even if property values go up, we can't pay this down any faster because of the regulations.
Correct. Correct. We pay, I mean, we have the amortization schedule. The only way you could pay it faster is you could do like, I don't even know if it's really considered, I mean, you really wouldn't pay it faster necessarily, but you could do like a refunding of your general obligation bond debt. If it was at a higher interest rate, you could, it's basically refinancing the debt. So it'd be like refinancing your car and you could maybe get it at a better rate for a shorter period of time. But that's usually only done when you have a really high rate, because there are attorney expenses and stuff that are included in that, that can sometimes make it not feasible if you're just trying to shorten the length. Are there any other questions about the general obligation bond debt? If not, that is really all I had for presenting tonight. I know that we thought this would go a little bit longer, but the debt service is pretty straightforward. I'm sure some of the other budget work sessions will probably have a lot more discussion, because they actually have, I guess, more wiggle room and stuff that they're going to do. So if there aren't any other questions, I'll answer anything else you have, if you have anything else that you want to ask me about, budget wise or other.
Thank you, Lexi.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm,
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Mr. Reese, did you have anything further?
No, Mayor.
All right, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All those in sorry. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. Motion carries. I will see you all at 7:30.
Thank you, Lexi.
Thank you all
Thank
very much.
you.